And that's how you form Voltron. Uh, all right. Black Lion, go. Dun-dun, dun-dun. Oh, all right, sorry. Just a favorite. I know some of you guys out there like, what is the Voltron knockoff that you young kids like to watch? Uh, Power Rangers. Go, go, Power Rangers. Well, that came from Voltron, all right? And the Chinese did it. They brought it here, and then we dubbed it in our English language. Now they're both cool. I like the original version best, but they're good. Anyway, all right. So what is this video about? Well, I'm glad you asked. Once again, just a little commentary from your favorite man in black and Black Roses, the Badwolf. But what is a wolf but with a rose in his nuzzle? Nozzle? Muzzle? Muzzle? Muzzle. Mazel tov. All right. Remember, I'm just a crazy guy in a box. I'm just a madman, extremely intelligent, but at the same time, crazy like the wolf. Yes, one day we'll take over the world. Let's go, let's go. This particular video is about the motion to vacate. What is it? Something we can use? Kind of sounds cool. Well, shot goes out to Susan N., an attorney and legal writer over at Legal Match. So all rights reserved. This is fair use. And if you seek advice, please go see them. We are not related. I'm not affiliated. They do not provide me with anything. So use this at your own leisure and entertainment purposes only. Let's take a gander and see what old Sue, Runaround Sue here, has to say with a motion to vacate.
What is a motion to vacate judgment? A motion to vacate a judgment, or petition to vacate judgment, is a specific request made by one of the parties to a lawsuit or other legal proceeding to a court to withdraw a judgment or order that the court previously entered. Generally, a motion to vacate judgment may be granted to a party to a lawsuit who can show that they did not have a proper chance to present their side of the case in the action. Such motions may be common in major family law cases, such as those involving divorce, child custody/visitation, and other issues. Motions to vacate may also be used if a default judgment has been entered in a lawsuit. A default judgment is entered when the person who has been sued never answers the complaint and never appears in court in connection with the lawsuit. Sometimes, it might happen that a person who has been sued does not receive notice of the lawsuit, so was not aware of the proceedings. Trying to vacate a default judgment if a person can show that they were never served in the action has a good chance of success. A motion to vacate must be filed within a reasonable time after the judgment was issued. Depending on the legal issue involved, filing a motion to vacate could be allowed from 30 days to 1 year after the date the judgment was entered. A person would want to check with a lawyer to ensure that their filing of the motion will be considered within the applicable time limit. Or, if a person wants to proceed on their own, they need to check the rules of the court which entered the judgment to see what they say about time limits for filing a motion to vacate. And then, the person wants to proceed as the rules direct. A person should never expect a court to make exceptions in their case. In addition to being filed within the applicable time limit, a motion to vacate judgment must be based on a valid legal reason. If the motion is filed and the court considers it to be frivolous, they might dismiss the motion and order the person to pay the costs and fees incurred by the other party in responding to the motion. Contents. When can a motion to vacate judgment be granted? What are the steps for filing a motion to vacate judgment? Do I need a lawyer for help with a motion to vacate judgment? When can a motion to vacate judgment be granted? Probably the most common situation in which an order vacating judgment can be granted is when the person or party did not receive the legally required notice regarding the lawsuit or other legal action, e.g., a motion for a restraining order, when the lawsuit or action was begun. When a person initiates any kind of legal action against another person, they are required to give the other person notice of the action and a copy of the legal documents involved. This is called service of process in legal terminology. If a person can show that they never received service of process, they have a good chance of vacating a judgment in the lawsuit in which they were sued. After serving a person who has been sued, the person who served the notice must file an affidavit of service with the court, in which the server provides a description of the person served, the date and time at which service was made, and the contact information of the process server themselves, i.e., their name, address, and phone number. The affidavit must also include a statement to the effect that the server is legally authorized to perform service of process in the state in question. In some states, a person can be served by certified mail, restricted delivery. In the case of service of process by certified mail, the green certified mail receipt is returned to the court and is the proof of service. The affidavit of service of process is an important legal document. If it is on file with the court, and it provides an accurate description of the person served that matches the appearance of the person who was sued and against whom judgment was entered by the court is not likely to vacate the judgment. The court would reject the argument that the person against whom judgment was entered was never served with process. On the other hand, if the person against whom judgment was entered can convincingly show that they were never served with process, then they have a chance of getting any judgment against them vacated. Other reasons for which a judgment can be vacated depend on the law of the state in which the motion is filed. Some of the situations in which a motion to vacate judgment might be successful in most states include clerical mistakes. A judgment is a written document, so it contains oversights, omissions, or mistakes of some kind. It might need to be vacated and corrected. Erroneous proceedings. The person against whom judgment was entered might show that the legal proceedings leading to the judgment were against a minor or other person deemed to be of unsound mind and who cannot, therefore, be sued. Newly discovered evidence. The person against whom judgment was entered would need to show that some significant evidence has just been newly discovered. Further, they would have to show that the evidence could not have been discovered in time to make a motion for a new trial before the judgment was entered. Fraud, misrepresentation, or other misconduct. If the person against whom judgment was entered can show that the other party engaged in fraud, misrepresentation, or other misconduct of some kind in the course of the proceeding leading up to the judgment could be vacated. Void or satisfied. If a judgment has already been voided for some reasons or has already been satisfied, i.e. paid, if it called for the payment of money, it might be vacated. Death of a party. One of the parties may have passed away before judgment could be completed. Other reasons. Any other reason that might justify a relief from the judgment could be claimed. The law in each state provides the rule and guidelines regarding motions to vacate in that state. Also, details may vary depending on the case. For example, the criteria may be different for motions in family law matters, such as a spousal support case as compared to a child support case. They might be different again in a debt collection case where a person wants to vacate a judgment of debt owed. Find the right child custody lawyer. Hire the right lawyer near your location. Find my lawyer now. What are the steps for filing a motion to vacate judgment? As noted above, there are deadlines for filing a motion to vacate. So, it is critical for a person to act promptly and not wait if they believe a motion to vacate is appropriate in their case. The first thing to do is to secure from the court that entered the judgment the various forms and documents needed for filing the motion. Today, most courts have forms for this purpose. If not, a person would probably have to have the assistance of a family law lawyer or civil trial lawyer who is familiar with procedures in the local civil courts. But, generally courts provide documents for the purpose of filing a motion to vacate. After obtaining the necessary forms, a person would need to fill out the forms and obtain the proper signatures, usually from a judge or commissioner. Next, the person would need to file the papers with the court and serve them to the other party. Depending on the reason for which a person seeks to vacate a judgment, they may need to include other documents, such as a declaration, with the motion. The declaration might be the person's statement under penalty of perjury as to why the motion should be granted. If a person submits a declaration, the person must state detailed facts to convince the judge to vacate the judgment or other order. A person might fill out and file their own declaration with their motion. Or, another person, such as an experienced trial lawyer, might help prepare the declaration on the person's behalf. A declaration is not the place to state opinions or arguments, but rather to present the facts of a person's case. The facts should be presented as numbered statements. It can be broken into sections if the facts address different topics. It should be as clear and well organized as possible. A person should be sure to keep copies of all documents, including declarations and other papers submitted to the court. Again, all documents filed with the court must be served on the other party to the lawsuit. The law gives the other party the right to know about and respond to every document that one party has filed. The court in which the motion is filed will hold a hearing on it. At the hearing, both sides are given the opportunity to make their case, one for and one against, the motion. As mentioned, a person should make sure there is a sound legal basis for the motion, otherwise, the motion may be denied and the person may even be responsible for paying the legal fees that the other party incurred in opposing the motion. Do I need a lawyer for help with a motion to vacate judgment? Vacating a judgment is not something a court does lightly. So making the case for it is a challenging task. You may need to hire a child custody lawyer in your area if you are considering filing.
All right, from there it just goes on to talk about what they were basing that particular ad or page on or topic. Obviously, this can be used for pretty much everything out there. We didn't know. You see what I mean? We didn't know, but we know now. All right. So from there, there it is. Jazz it up. All right. Draft me a motion to vacate based on the state of Florida codes and laws for the court format accordingly, and it will be based on a past judgment on what should we say here? Now, obviously, I don't know what your scenario is, but here's where you want to put in your scenario. So we'll just say um, alleged resisting on arrest that wouldn't have occurred if the officer understood the charge was unconstitutional um, and The court removed the audio section of the evidence, which is tampering and also malicious persecution. Here's your motion. Here's your motion. I just gave you guys some huge gem drops here. Would you like me to include a memorandum of law? Yes. There you go. That's it, guys. Proof is in the pudding. Magic is in the man or wall man, whatever it might be. Oh, look at that. Magic. All right, guys. So go out there, go get your court cases taken care of. Like I said, I'm going to give you guys some more tidbits when I do the seminars on how to make your cases, even with ChatGPT, even more fire. I'm only giving you guys enough to be somewhat dangerous, or like Darkwing Duck, old cartoon. Let's get dangerous. All right, guys. So there it is. And I've already been hearing you guys have been winning court cases on just the little stuff I've been giving you guys. Well, we'll say medium. We'll definitely say medium. A lot of good tools have been coming out here. A lot of things you guys didn't know. So go get them, Tiger. I'll talk to you guys later. Thanks for watching. Hit that bell, like, subscribe, and there should be some more videos popping up. Join me on my other channels. I've got links now to the other ones. So support those channels, and I will be bringing you guys videos on my other personal channels. Okay, one is the Badwolf Media channel where we'll be talking about things in the news, and the other one is Badwolf Unlimited, and that one we're going to be talking about everything. Everything. How I feel about this, that, the other, whatever. Might be a little more adult. Might be might be some F bombs and some whatever else in there. We don't see what we can push a little bit with the sensors. We gotta we have to be good over here. Okay. Okay. Be professional, non-belligerent, non-combatant. Over there, maybe a little belligerent. I might even get on there and sip on a couple. It might get wild. We gonna see. All right, guys. Have a great day. Stay healthy. Keep your mind sharp. Take your vitamins and whatever else that you need. Consult with your doctors. Stay healthy in mind, body, and soul. I'll talk to you guys later.